Hey everyone, and welcome back to another explainer. Today, we are taking a heavily data-driven dive into a massive new report that honestly completely shatters how we think about the modern workplace. We're unpacking Microsoft's 2026 Work Trend Index, and we are talking about literally trillions of anonymized productivity signals, plus a survey of 20,000 workers across 10 different countries. So, our goal today? Demystifying AI. Let's jump right into the new reality of AI in the workplace.
Okay, so there's this core thesis right at the start of the report. As AI and agents take on execution, our own agency expands. It's kind of wild, right? Because for so long, the conversation has been entirely about AI replacing human thinking, or, taking our jobs. But the data shows something completely different. AI isn't replacing our potential, it's actually expanding it. When agents handle the routine execution stuff, humans suddenly have the space and the agency to direct the work, make the really tough calls, and truly own the outcomes.
But, all that incredible potential brings up a pretty massive high-stakes question. Is your organization built to capture it? The crucial point here is that while individual employees might be totally ready to use these tools, the systems around them often just aren't. So if you're a business leader, a manager, or really just anyone trying to navigate the future of your career, this is the absolute million-dollar question you need to be asking yourself today.
To answer that, here's our roadmap for today. 1. The new agency equation. 2. The transformation paradox. 3. Meet the frontier professional. 4. The power of the system. And finally, becoming a learning system. Let's get right into it.
All right, Section 1, the new agency equation, expanding potential.
This is really where human judgment takes center stage. Out of 100,000 chats in Microsoft 365 Copilot, get this, a massive 49% of them support cognitive work. That means analyzing information, solving complex problems, thinking creatively. Only 17% is for simply producing work. I mean, this completely dismantles the myth that AI is just this shortcut for cranking out fast, thoughtless outputs, right? Half of all interactions are deeply cognitive. AI is literally lifting the ceiling on individual potential and expanding exactly who gets to do high-value work.
So because the AI generates those initial answers, our role fundamentally shifts. We're moving from generating things from scratch to evaluating, refining, and owning them. The data actually shows that 86% of users treat AI output as just a starting point, not a final answer. So the top 2 human skills that matter most right now? Quality control of AI output and critical thinking. The most valuable workers aren't the ones who type the fastest anymore. They're the ones who apply the absolute best judgment.
Moving on to Section 2, the transformation paradox, a broken system. Right now, workers are basically caught in this giant tug-of-war. On one side, you have the pull to perform. Like 65% of AI users are terrified of falling behind if they don't adapt quickly. They feel this really desperate need to keep up. But on the other side, we have the push to transform, where 45% say it actually feels safer to just keep their heads down, focus on their current goals, and not risk redesigning their work with AI. It's a huge clash between the urgent need to innovate and the rigid, risk-averse environments that hold employees back.
And here is a totally shocking statistic. 13%. Only 13% of AI users say they're actually rewarded for reinventing how they work with AI, even if the initial results fall short. I mean, think about that for a second. We're expecting people to completely revolutionize how they work, but we are effectively punishing them for taking the necessary risks to actually do it. Make it make sense.
And that brings us to what's called the transformation paradox. Basically, employees are totally ready to reinvent how they work. But the system around them, the metrics, the performance reviews, the incentives, the company norms, it all just continues to reinforce the old way of doing things. So the really crucial takeaway here is that the issue holding companies back isn't employee readiness, and it's not a lack of skills. It's a broken organizational system. The exact forces that should be accelerating AI adoption are actually slamming on the brakes.
All right, Section 3, meet the frontier professional, the elite tier.
So, frontier professionals represent a really small but disproportionately valuable group of workers. Just 16% of the AI users surveyed fall into this elite category. These folks operate in this perfect sweet spot where their own high capability with AI perfectly aligns with an organization that is actually ready to support them. And there's a super fascinating behavioral difference here when you look at the benchmarking data. 43% of these frontier users intentionally do work without AI just to keep their own human skills sharp. That's compared to only 30% of average users. But here is the real kicker.
53% intentionally pause before starting a task to decide what the AI should do versus what the human should do. Average users, only 33% do that. The absolute best AI users in the world are highly intentional about not outsourcing their thinking. They know exactly what to delegate to the machine and what human elements they need to fiercely protect. Beyond just pausing to think, here are the core behaviors that really define these frontier professionals. They use AI agents for complex, multi-step workflows, not just simple one-off prompts. They routinely redesign their entire workflow to find automation opportunities. And crucially, they create shared AI standards for their teams. They're totally redefining their value. They aren't just doing more tasks faster, they're focusing on setting clear intent, defining the quality bar, and designing systems that produce way better outcomes for everybody.
Next up, Section 4, the power of the system, fixing the paradox. Okay, here's where we hit the biggest plot twist of the whole explainer. 67%. This is a massive data reveal that completely flips the script on how leaders should be thinking about AI adoption, and it totally debunks a lot of what we assume about individual hustle. When Microsoft tested dozens of different factors against actual, self-reported AI impact, things like producing higher quality work or collaborating better, the results were stunning. Organizational factors account for a massive 67% of AI's impact. Individual mindset and behavior, that only accounts for 32%. So things like company culture, manager support, and talent practices matter more than twice as much as an individual's personal effort. Managers who openly use AI, who set quality standards, who create psychological safety for experimentation, they are the real drivers of value here.
The undeniable truth is that the transformation paradox is, at its core, a systems problem. And systems don't just fix themselves, right? They have to be redesigned from the top down. Individual potential is fantastic, for sure, but it really only compounds when leadership sets the direction, updates those incentives, and actually creates a safe space for people to experiment and, frankly, fail along the way.
Finally, Section 5, becoming a learning system, building the future.
The absolute ultimate goal for any organization right now is to build what they call owned intelligence. This is institutional know-how that compounds over time. It's completely unique to your firm, and it's incredibly hard for your competitors to replicate. Right now, active agents in the Microsoft 365 ecosystem have grown 15 times year over year. That's a massive explosion of agents doing work. And as they do that work, they generate incredibly valuable signals. What worked, what failed. Frontier firms don't just let those signals stay isolated. They capture those local wins and scale them across the entire organization to build up this owned intelligence.
So how do you actually build a learning system that captures all that intelligence? Well, you need coordinated reinvention across 4 specific roles. Let's walk through the blueprint. Step 1, employees have to re-architect their work around setting intent and reviewing outputs. Step 2, leaders have to redesign business processes around outcomes and agent autonomy rather than just tracking tasks. Step 3, IT needs to build scalable infrastructure treating these agents as managed entities with clear identities and life cycles. And Step 4, security must embed trust, monitoring, and policy enforcement directly into the platform to prevent unauthorized access. When these 4 roles work together in concert, work continuously produces insight, and that insight reshapes how work gets done. It's an amazing feedback loop.
Which brings us to one last highly provocative thought to leave you with today. As agents amplify what people can do, are you building an organization where human judgment stays at the center of the work that matters? Technology is moving incredibly fast, but the companies that win in the end won't just be the ones with the best AI. They're going to be the ones that redesign their organizational systems to let human brilliance actually shine through. I really hope this explainer gave you exactly the structure and insights you need to start rethinking your own workflows. Thank you so much for learning with me today, everyone. Until next time, stay curious.